essentially this presentation, I suppose, you might want to sort of figure it as a kind of, 10 steps to building a monopoly. Unfortunately, there are more than 10 steps, but if I can leave you with this impression that this presentation is designed to tell you kind of what we did and the dynamics that we were able to engender to create an extremely competitive position in our specialist niche. So I was asked in an A-Journal interview a few weeks ago to what my motivation was for developing the Hong Kong Visa Centre. Well, it's really very simple. I was effectively going broke. I'd had a considerable period of success in the early part of my career, certainly from 1996 when I first wrote a book on the Hong Kong visa process and put it on the internet back then. That was at a time when HSBC had merely dial-up email accounts, and between 1996 and 2000, to make a long story short, it made me, and things were fantastic. But then, essentially, I experienced some considerable difficulties between 2000 and 2010 as a result of mistakes that I made. So essentially, in 2010, effectively with the taxman after me, I was almost done. It was time to really be sensible about business. So I had nowhere else to go other than back to my core competency, which has always been Hong Kong immigration. Now, I'm a lawyer by profession, and the one thing that they teach at law school is basically how to find stuff and then how to think. So I knew, because of my circumstances in 2010, that if I was going to come back and leverage my expertise and experience in Hong Kong immigration, I needed to do it properly, because I would have to do it via the internet. So this meant that I went out and as I put down the foundations of the business together with my business partner Martin, I continue to learn and read, and what's amazing these days is that everything that you need to be successful is already out there on the internet. You just need to know what it is that you're looking for and do the right thinking about these things. So I've been encouraged by a lot of different materials that I've read along the way, but it's fair to say that these four people are my intellectual heroes. These are the modern philosophers of our age, and I would urge you to go out and consume everything that these good people have to offer. So coming back into our business, we knew that because we didn't have any resources, we'd have to do it differently. My business partner Martin had joined me back in 1997, I think it was, and we'd come through quite a number of deals together, and Bailey just had our hides in one piece at the point of us making this decision that we needed to come back into Hong Kong immigration. So we looked at our marketplace, and we knew that we had two huge competitors, one of which I was a founding partner of, so I knew what they were all about, and another one which is the world's largest corporate immigration practice, a firm that I was privileged to work for between 2006 and 2009. So as a result of my time with that global player, I was fortunate to have complete insight into what their business was all about, and essentially how they were conducting their trade and what their strengths and what their weaknesses were. So we knew that we'd have to come back in differently, and so we segmented our market into two types: the individual immigration services market and the corporate immigration services market. The individual immigration services market is 15% of the market by value, and the corporate services market is 85% of the market by value. We understood that the individual services market was not being serviced by anybody else in the marketplace. And we knew, because of my success between 1996 and 2000, that if we produced high quality content in our niche and helped people answer their questions and solve their problems, then we would be on our way to success. But we determined that we would start in the individual immigration services space first, because there we would be competing against non-consumption. Clayton Christensen talks about how you strategically disrupt a marketplace, and we knew that there was a ready market for people out there who had immigration problems and basically needed access to information to allow them to make informed decisions, and that audience was not being addressed. So we deliberately set out to publish into the individual immigration services space. And then, setting out the foundations of our business, we relied on my intellectual hero, Charlie Munger, when he says lots of really important things, but two things that really resonated with me at that time was, if you're going to be successful, you do one thing. You do it better than everybody else, and success is guaranteed. He also said that fundamentally, the only way that you can truly be successful is to apply the golden rule to all of your relationships, and that is just treat other people like you yourself would hope to be treated. So these were the foundations of the Hong Kong Visa Centre when we put it together. Now, Seth Godin says that you should be outstanding, you should be remarkable. If you're going to receive people's attention in this day and age, then you have to be remarkable. So we decided that we were going to give all our intellectual property away for free. That's 20-odd years worth of know-how on the Hong Kong immigration process, and then turn that over essentially to the people who have an interest in that material. Nobody else was doing this, and my philosophy at that point was, if information on the internet is going to be free, you may as well own free. So in order to do this, and bearing in mind that we had no money whatsoever, we reached out into that really expensive piece of technology, WordPress, and we understood that the way forward would be simply to understand every possible question, every possible scenario, every possible idea that you could encompass when it comes to our niche, which is Hong Kong immigration, and basically write it down. Define your technology, your taxonomy. Understand essentially that Google at some point is going to come waving its way through your websites, looking for information to basically determine that you've got the best stuff. So if you define your niche in the way that we did, define your taxonomy, and then set it out in that fashion, at some stage in the future, Google and other search engines will be able to know exactly what you're all about. So WordPress gives you that ability, and that's what we did. We also learned that in the connection economy as we are today, you need to be generous. So when we publish on our websites, basically we invite people to engage with our materials, to reach out and ask us questions, which we answer via the blog within 48 hours, completely free of charge. We've understood what the common experiences are, the common tasks that have to happen in the Hong Kong immigration process, and so we developed kits for that and then put that out to the audience. And essentially, by giving out all of our know-how and all our experience for free, you create relationships and you generate goodwill. It's also vitally important that you are transparent. If you go on our website, you'll see that my story is there for everyone to hear. If people are going to have relationships with you in our context as a professional immigration advisor, they're putting their lives in your hands. So really you have an obligation to reciprocate that trust that they place in you. And so you need to be completely transparent and tell your story and show that you're authentic, trustworthy, and finally that you're vulnerable, because in fact we all are. You also need to build a platform. WordPress allows you to do this wonderfully. In determining the totality of our business model, we understood that we need a daily content update site, which is the Hong Kong Visa Geezer website. We needed our core content, which is the foundation content detailed in the Hong Kong Visa Handbook. We don't sell anything on our websites other via the Hong Kong Visa Centre site, and that's where we basically have conversations about how we can professionally assist people, but we don't force our capabilities on anybody via our websites. They're designed essentially just to serve. A lot of talk about social media and the importance of all of that. You need to understand that what we did was publish on one site, syndicate to our other sites, including a wider platform that we developed down the years, and then make sure that a copy of your content goes into all the major social media platforms where you believe that your audience would possibly end up looking to find you. So it's a very simple publishing strategy. You also need to anticipate that a lot of the stuff that you hear about SEO is really just rubbish, to be frank. It's all about engineers with propellers in their heads justifying their reason for waking up in the morning, and I don't want to disparage anybody in the SEO game, but I discovered really early on that SEO is just about gaming Google. Now there are reasons to try and game Google in certain niches, but certainly in our niche, a professional services niche, you shouldn't be trying to game Google, because that's an idiot's work, right? They've got all the inputs. Only they know what is going to be of the highest quality. You're essentially just trying to second guess that, and you'll never be able to do it. So what we did is we understood that in the final analysis what's going to happen is that search engines are going to look for natural language. So we make sure that all our posts that go on our website are just SEO'd according to this very simple plugin, no more, no less, very straightforward. Google will essentially be able to find you if your content is of the highest quality, and you just do some very, very simple tricks. And what's really important about all of this is this idea that if you have a relationship with people that have got a need to access your material, and they're going to reach out to you and they're going to be looking for answers against questions that they ordinarily ask, then if you answer those questions against those, if you answer those questions against the way that those questions are asked, essentially over time you're going to map the complete knowledge graph in your niche. And if you map the knowledge graph in your niche, all roads ultimately lead to Rome. In determining also that you have got something to sell at the back end, and what we do is we sell services, you should also think about how you can leverage your platform to disrupt the way that these services are sold in your marketplace, so that you can sell stuff that the competition that you have cannot. The other thing to do is really understand what you're really selling. We have always understood that historically immigration services have been sold on the basis of fear. That is, I've got this knowledge and know-how, and unless you pay me, there's a very good chance you're not going to get your visa. And if you don't get your visa, what will that mean for you? Well, fear is a terrible basis of a relationship. So by being open and transparent, we're able to engender our authority in this niche, and out of that stems trust. And what we're selling at the end of the day is peace of mind. Because you can't get peace of mind out of our service any other way than knowing that you've actually paid us to take responsibility for it. And we understood that that's the one thing that people can't buy, even though we give absolutely everything away for free otherwise. So you need to know what you're selling. You also need to understand the psychology of your marketplace, and also the psychology of of human beings. And there's some work from Cialdini that talks about how you can harness the way that we are wired psychologically from an evolutionary perspective, so that you can develop your proposition to suit the exact mental constructs of the audience that you're addressing. And in this regard, I would urge you to buy this book or watch this 7-minute, I think it is, movie on YouTube by Cialdini called The Secrets of the Science of Persuasion. And if you were to analyze our websites, you'll see that this has been impacted all throughout. Also, if you want to take steps to build a monopoly, you need to completely reverse the risk with the parties that you wish to deal with. My philosophy has always been that if you're trusting me in my business to help you solve your immigration problem, then really I should put my money where my mouth is. And so in our instance, we don't take on clients unless we have a genuine belief that we can get them approved. And as a result of that, we offer a 200% money-back guarantee. And that immediately melts away any objections to people wanting to part with their money, because they know that their interests are squarely aligned with ours. A few years ago, I was locked away on a boat for 4 days in the Caribbean on a Disney cruise, and they delivered a customer service experience that was absolutely second to none. And it made me realize that actually, if you're in control of a particular environment, as Disney were with me in those 4 days on that cruise, then you can basically lay out that experience for people. And if you're in a position to understand what kind of experience would resonate with your audience, and you deliver a customer service experience around that, then you essentially have complete market alignment. It's also vitally important that you take your proposition online, offline as far as you can do that. Seth Godin talks about having an idea virus. My idea virus is the Hong Kong visa geezer. Who's heard of the Hong Kong visa geezer? Amazing. So, the Hong Kong visa geezer was gifted to me by Phil Whelan of RTHK Radio 3 about 15 years ago, because I'd be going on the radio once a month on his show to answer questions live on there, and he would say during his announcement, Steve Barnes, the Hong Kong visa geezer, will be coming on to answer your questions shortly. And I always thought it's really catchy. I'll take advantage of that one day when I can. And lo and behold, when I was doing my research for the Hong Kong Visa Centre, I came across Seth Godin's idea virus, and it was easy for me to now incorporate that. And I can tell you that a large portion of the business that we get is as a result of people having remembered visa geezer when that moment comes in their life where they actually need to have some help with their immigration problems. Because bearing in mind, immigration isn't a live issue in people's lives every day. It only pops up every now and again. When it pops up, it's absolutely crucial. Also, on the route to building monopoly, you need to generate a tribe, and you generate a tribe in the way that we have done by basically positioning ourselves to answer people's questions and solve their problems. and out of that builds trust, and from that comes goodwill and all the rest of that. So now our tribe is 70,000 strong at this point. Peter Thiel in his book 0 to 1 says you need to have a secret. So true. We've got more than one secret. And the big secret that we've got that I can share with you is that if you take this approach in your niche, you will understand things about the market that your competitors who are not taking this approach in your niche will glean, because they haven't had that experience. And as you develop your proposition and move it out there, you will find that there are things that emerge that give you more competitive secrets as well. So you need to have a secret. I'm very transparent. This is what we've done. Since we started, we've done $2 million US in revenues. We did $1 million US last year. Our tribe's about 70,000 strong. 50% of our traffic, actually about 70% of our traffic comes from Google or direct, and the rest comes from other sources. But this is what we've experienced in the 26 months between May and July 2015. This is the visagiza.com website. Our performance is on other websites a little bit less than this, but this gives you a sense of a sort of a minimum that we're engaging in. And so back to Peter Thiel again in 0 to 1. He poses this question: do you have an engineering advantage? The short answer is yes. Most people don't realize that in the years that I was losing everything, I spent 7 years understanding how to turn Microsoft Outlook into an electronic file or fax. That meant that we have some very interesting insights on how people organize themselves at the back end, and we've been able to take advantage of that at the back end in our business here too. Is now the right time? Well, apart from the fact that I was going broke and I had no other alternative but to start now, the short answer is yes, because when you look at the incumbents and what they've done and how they position themselves and how they've essentially treading the same old path that I've been treading, I was treading all of those years, the time was totally right to go into this and disrupt them. Are we starting with a big share of a small market? Yes, we are. Undoubtedly we're sharing. We've got a big share of a small market. But as I said at the beginning of this presentation, you might consider our business experience to be an MVP for possibly how immigration services might be vended and supplied in other jurisdictions going forward. So I'll leave you to ponder that question for yourself. Do you have the right people? Martin and I, as I've been together since 1997, we read each other's minds now. So from a foundational perspective, yes, we've got the right people, but because the way that we bring our team into play, we treat others with the utmost respect. So remember, we apply the golden rule, so the people that come to work with us like to work with us, and we've definitely got the people in place. The distribution question was nailed from the get-go because of the way that our business model is configured. And will our market position be defensible in 10 and 20 years from now? Absolutely, because we publish 4 to 5 times a week. The more we publish, the more difficult it is for our competitors to come in and steal our thunder. So as long as we continue to publish every other day, then our position in the marketplace is completely defensible. And as I say, have you got a secret? Yeah, we have plenty of secrets. There's lots of secrets out there. You just need to go out and do it. So my challenge to you, because you've come to these things not just to listen, I assume you've come to actually learn and perhaps take on board some of these ideas and implement them. Well, if you find what I have had to say interesting today, then go to my blog. You'll find Intellectual Heroes. That's a complete ongoing narrative of the inspiration that I've had down the years. You've got to read Peter Thiel's book, and then practical terms, read Michael Hyatt's book, Platform. That'll give you access to all the tools and techniques that we've incorporated into our model. So with that, I shall close. Thanks very much for your attention. It's valuable in the connection economy.
Thank you.